Hi, welcome everybody. It's been a while since I've done any talks. I've been doing a lot of singing. Um, but I am inspired today to share with you um what I call the title of this video is Just Be With It, a way to alchemize your problems. So, what does that mean? Um, well, I have to give full credit to my teacher, Mingyur Rinpoche, for the source of this knowledge and information. And I'm just passing it on, really. It's not coming from me, but it, he teaches the joy of living meditation and uh, a version of that is called anywhere, anytime meditation. And the essence of all of it is summed up in four words: just be with it. So what does that mean? It means, um, let's start again. We have problems. I think we all agree with that. But the Buddhists say we have three main problems: aversion, attachment, and ignorance. They would even reduce it down to just ignorance because out of ignorance comes aversion and attachment. But let's stick with three because this talk is going to involve a lot of groups of three, which is quite nice because they all link up somehow. So if you think about your experience, you have a daily life experience of problems, and you can put them into categories of aversion, attachment, and ignorance. I think pretty much all of our problems would fit into those categories. Um, I think they're all quite obvious and you're all quite familiar, so I don't need to explain any more about that. Aversion is resistance, or not wanting something. Attachment is finding pleasure or liking or wanting more of something, wanting to get something, desire. So it's kind of like love and hate. These are kind of very much two sides of the same coin. We want happiness and we don't want suffering. And these are inseparable. You can't have one without the other. So there's a lot more that could be said about that, but the method or one method, the method that I'm going to talk about is how to deal with these things. Many people experience problems and they don't know quite how to relate to them, or how to deal with them, or well, what to do basically. What do you do with it? So we have this idea mm, that we can find something within us. This is a Buddhist idea. Something within us um, that we can transform our problems and get to the other side. And that's sometimes called basic goodness. And my teacher calls it awareness, compassion, and wisdom. So that's another group of three. And how to transform our problems, he says, is to just be with it. It means the problems. But when you just be with it, that doesn't mean you have to change anything. You don't have to kind of force or fight or struggle against it. This method is all about recognizing that the problems themselves are basic goodness, which takes a little bit of mental gymnastics. Um, so I don't know if I will manage to get that point across today or not. We'll see. But just be with it. How do you just be with it? Well, this interesting choice of words. The just means you're not trying to do anything. The just is letting it be as it is. And that's connected with wisdom. When you are with reality, just as it is, without adding your own interpretation or judgment or label, then the reality is as it is. You know, and reality doesn't come with a label. It's us who put the label on it. So reality as it is wisdom. And when we are separated in any way from reality as it is, that's a cause of suffering, cause of problems, cause of ignorance. Well, it is ignorance. So just means wisdom. Just means as it is. You're not trying to do anything to it. And that's the be as well. Just be. But the be implies awareness. So the first thing is the wisdom, just. Be is the awareness, which means you are present. You're not distracted. You are not avoiding, you're not ignoring, you're not um disconnected. You're connected. You are with it. and that's the with. So these three things, in a way, are inseparable. Just be with it is inseparable because they all are one. So be implies awareness, or you could say mindfulness or presence, being, being present, being being there, or being here, or being where you are. And the with is the compassion. So if you are mm, being kind to your friend who is having a problem, you can just be with your friend. And in this case, you can just be with yourself as a friend to yourself. So just be with it. Just be with it, meaning your problems. But it doesn't have to be just your problems. It can be positive experiences, negative experiences, or neutral experiences. It can be everything, anywhere, anytime, under any circumstance. You can just be with it. And it's actually really skillful way to learn this habit, how to just be with it. You can do that with things that are not difficult. For example, your breathing. Some people find breathing difficult, but if you find your breathing difficult, you can choose something else that's neutral, like visual experience or sound experience or mm, body experience or something like that, tactile experience, even just like touching your fingers together. That's an experience which you can just be with it. And it doesn't have to be a long time. In fact, it can't be a long time, really. In the beginning, we can't maintain it. We don't need to maintain it. We just have to apply the technique of just being with it for a short time. And then you repeat that. So short time, many times, just be with it. Just be with it many times for a short time, again and again and again. And gradually, that is like going to the gym. You gradually increase your ability and your strength to, you just naturally are more able to stay in contact, in connection with the present, with the problem, with the experience, with the here and now. You can't you can't force that to get longer, that experience. You just have to apply again and again and again, and it gradually gets longer by itself. So just be with it. You can practice anywhere, anytime, with anything, under any circumstances. And the more you do that, the more you create this habit. So, how does that transform? Well, we have awareness, compassion, and wisdom right there in this practice. And so being is awareness. You know that um, being is awareness. So just be is like everything is awareness. You have awareness when you are experiencing something. So, in fact, you can't have good times or bad times without awareness. So, if you if you remember that everything is awareness, then you are transforming everything into awareness. And awareness is good. It's part of our basic goodness. It's part of who we are. And there's something, so there's another group of three, um, which Mingyur Rinpoche says it, he calls it three life skills. So the first one is the numbers one skill is be okay with not okay. So when you're not okay, you can accept it. You're not trying to avoid it or look for something else. You can accept it. And if you do that, which is the opposite of what we would habitually do, um, then you learn how to accept. So acceptance is a really big part of just be with it. How do you just be with it? You accept. And how do you accept? You relax. You don't resist or you don't try to change anything. So how does that transform? It transforms the main problem that we have of aversion. Aversion meaning hatred or wanting to get rid of something. And when we just be with it, we are doing the opposite of that. We're just allowing, we're not trying to change it. We're not trying to get rid of it. And so it's transforming the habit of aversion, of hatred, of resistance. And when we do that, we actually reduce our suffering because our suffering isn't so much caused by the thing that we hate. It's caused by our reaction to it. So if we're transforming our reaction in terms of our habit of aversion, then we are transforming our problems from aversion to compassion. Compassion is means many things, but in this sense, compassion is the sense of allowing, accepting, or it's the with, it's the being with, is the compassion. So just be with it is transforming aversion into compassion. So, yeah, bear with me. I think we're getting some idea now of these three things. And the three life skills are be okay with not okay. So that's number one. And number two is be present. So you're not lost. Sometimes when you're lost, it means you're not in the here and now. You don't know where you are. Your mind is somewhere else, like you're dreaming or daydreaming or just completely distracted f from where you are and who you are and what your situation is around you. You're just not present. But when you're present, then that is awareness. So, yeah, awareness is part of who we are. It's our basic goodness. So being present means you are transforming this problem of attachment. How does it transform attachment? Well, attachment is kind of desire, wanting, feeling something missing, feeling something um you could call it poverty mentality, like insecure, or you feel like you don't have everything. There's something you don't have and you want it, or you might lose it. So it's that kind of opposite side of um, aversion, the other side of the coin. And it's just a habit. It's an energy of looking for something. And when you just be with it, that means you are relaxed, you're not distracted. So when you're not distracted, you're not looking for something other than what is. There's nothing missing. You're not looking for something that you don't have because everything is right here that you want. And if everything is right here that you want, why would you be somewhere else? Why would you want to be not present? So being present is a way to transform attachment into awareness. So we have compassion and awareness. And the third one is the three life skills. Be natural. So number one, be okay with not okay. Number two, be present. Number three, be natural. So how does that transform everything? Because in the Buddhist tradition, we talk about things as being innate, our innate qualities, our innate kind of goodness or basic goodness or fundamental ground of our being. And it's very important that it's natural. And how do we know it's natural? When we're not creating it, when it's not artificial. So if something is not created, not artificial, it must be natural, right? And this is a skill to be natural, to be yourself. And how does that transform ignorance? Because ignorance is, in a way, just another way of saying it's uh, it's not connected to the truth, or it's disconnected from reality as it is. And when you are connected to reality, that's wisdom. That's the opposite of ignorance. So if we can be with reality as it is, if we can be ourselves naturally, if we can be with our present experience as it is, then we are connected to what is natural, what is real, what is true. And all of the things that are not true and not real and artificial, we we are the ones making that up, actually. So when we stop making it up, then we are not ignorant. The ignorance is just our interpretation, it's our judgment, it's our labels, it's our concepts, and all of the layers of obscuration that we put on top of our reality that mean we can't actually see our reality. Our reality, when it's just natural as it is the truth and is the wisdom. So that's how being natural transforms ignorance into wisdom. So there's three things again and again and again. And the last one is the three qualities of meditation. So I wonder if you can join the dots because they are exactly what we've just been talking about. Number one is don't meditate, which means don't try to sounds funny. Don't meditate. This is a quality of meditation. But it means don't try to create some special state. Don't try to look for peace, for calm, for bliss, or trance, or focus, or something else. Don't do that. So that's the first quality. These are kind of don't. The life skills are do, and the qualities of meditation don't. So the second one is don't get lost. Number one, don't meditate. Number two, don't get lost. Don't get lost means be present. Don't get lost means don't start your mind wondering what else is better than this. Don't get lost means you're not ignorant. You're not mm, yeah, you're not distracted. I think you get the idea. Don't get lost. So the third one is uncontrived. Again, it's the same idea. Be natural. Don't create anything. Nothing is, you don't need to create anything. And that's connected to all the things we've been talking about. Like the whole thing is to find out who you are really. What is your natural state of mind? What is your natural default being, ground of being? What is it? And there's a nice thing that C.G. Jung called it, the the golden shadow. He says 90% of who we are is this golden shadow, and only 10% is our problems. And why is it called the shadow? Is because we don't see it. And why is it golden? It's because it's really positive. It's full of good qualities. So if we have 10 qualities, nine of them positive, we only see the negative. And the negative is our problems, our aversion, our attachment, and our ignorance. That's all we can see when we are in our daily life, normally, habitually. That's what we experience. That's what we get distracted by, or wrapped up, or overwhelmed, or carried away by those things. But this technique is alchemizing, it's transforming uh, just that aspect, the 10% of our being, into the other 90%. And the other 90% is our good qualities of basic goodness, awareness, compassion, and wisdom. Awareness is there, just be with it. Compassion is there, just be with it. Wisdom is there, just be with it. The wisdom is the just, the awareness is the be, the compassion is the with, and the it is the whatever we experience. It doesn't have to be negative, it could be positive, negative, or neutral. So that's my talk that I wanted to share with you. Thank you. I hope it was helpful and um yeah, see you soon.